This is going to be part 2 of the things Filipinos struggle in English. So as someone who speaks Filipino, these are the things that I struggle the most in English. First are the silent letters. Silent S, silent this, silent that. In the Filipino language, we do not have the silent letters. We pronounce and say all the letters in the word. For example, my first job here was a cashier. There's a lot of embarrassment that happens only because English is not my second language, and the struggle that's happening every time. One time I was at work, there's this guy who came in. He wanted to do a return. It's an office supply store. The word is F-A-U-X. F-A-U-X is the word. So I told the customer, hey, wait here for a second. I'm going to go speak to my manager. I walked into my manager's office. I talked to him and I was like, hey, this customer wanted to return this. And the way I said it, it's a laptop cover. And the way I said the word is fox leather. It's like my manager is like sitting down and I'm standing up, and he was typing, and as soon as I said the word, he kind of like looked back at me like, what the hell? Did you say fox? And I said, yeah, fox. And he's like, it's faux. Emotional. It's faux. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know. And I hate the English language because of that, because of silent letters. The S in island is silent. There's different people who say the word salmon is salmon. So it's supposed to be silent L. I don't know what's like the proper pronunciation. Just the silent letters can always throw me off guard in a word. And it just makes speaking English more difficult for someone who do not speak English as their main language. So yeah, he looked at me and I was like, oh, and I feel so embarrassed. As someone who speaks other languages, I feel like embarrassment when it comes to talking in English would just become a norm for you for some reason. Next one is the long E and short E sounds. Like for example, team, beam, seam, and the word beach. It should be beach. It's not short E, because if it's a short E, then I don't know. So if your mom is Filipino, if you marry a Filipina, if you have Filipino friends, you will experience this. They would exchange or mispronounce those words that has those sounds. I know I do all the time. The long E sound and the short E's sound. Story time. One time I was at work. This is a different job. It was early Saturday morning. It's not that busy. Everyone is just so quiet. No one at the store. I just came in. I just clocked in. Came in. I saw this 2 old lady. They're looking at a bookshelf, and I think they decided already that they're gonna get the bookshelf when I walk past them. So they were like, "Hey, excuse me, can you help us lift this bookshelf?" So I was like, "Yeah, for sure." But in my mind, I was like, "There's no way I can lift this one." So I have to call someone for help. I called someone on the walkie, and this is the thing, the long E, short E. Remember long E, short E? So brought my walkie, start talking, and I was like, "Hey Tim." So instead of saying team, I said, "Hey Tim, can I get a Tim lift?" So instead of saying team lift for someone to come, because in that retail, just say team lift at this aisle. But it's a torture because it's 2 words that I often mispronounce, the P and F, lift, and the long and short E, which is team. So I was like, "Hey Tim, can I have a team lift?" Bro, no one answered in the walkie. I'm so embarrassed. Nobody answered. And like I said, it's not a busy Saturday morning. It's not busy at all. And then I waited for I feel like it's the longest 5 seconds of my life. No one answered. And then later on, one of the supervisors said, "Hey team, can someone grab that for me?" Still nobody answered. He's like, "Okay, I'll go get it. What aisle are you in, Beth?" So I said the thing. But bro, I just clocked in. And I'm ready to clock out already. I swear to God. The long E and short E, like I said, if you are a Filipino and your whole family moved here in America, you know this. It's hard for us to differentiate long E from short E sound. Yep, that's just what it is. That's the fun of speaking different languages. Last but not the least, on my previous video, I talk about 4 things that Filipino struggles. And the 4th one is preposition, where I talk about it's hard to give directions. And then I kind of put 2 and 2 together because in the Philippines, we don't normally we don't verbalize direction. We would just do this. This thing that I'm gonna do, if you're a Filipino, if you're married to a Filipina, you'll know this. This is the only thing we do, and we know where to find the thing. Hey mom, where can I find my socks? Oh, it's right over there. Hey mom, where'd you put my book? Oh, it's right there. It's right over there. It's right there. And then if we can't find it, if we tell our parents that we can't find it, they would just say, just look harder over there. That's it. Me having a hard time giving direction because of that simple thing. We always use our lip to just point to the thing that you're looking for. We never really verbalize it. Now there's exception to the rule. Like if you're like, if you're driving and you ask someone, how do you get from this point A to point B? You're gonna need to give like a specific direction. But if it's just your day to day, Mom, where's my wallet? Where'd you put it? It's right there. I was like, that makes sense. If you put two and two together, it kind of makes sense. That's why it's kind of hard for me to actually like learn to give direction. Now, with that in your mind, just imagine how confused my husband and my son is with me every single day. Now I don't do it anymore, like the pointing the lip. I'm trying to do it like verbally because my son and my husband gets confused all the time. So I'm trying to like, oh, it's just right next to here, on top of that, right beside this, and right beside that. I'm learning to do this. And it's been a while when I caught myself doing the pointing my mouth or my lip. So yeah, I feel like I'm trying to fight this generational thing where everyone in the Philippines are just trying to use their lip to point where things at. It's like almost like I don't want to say generational trauma. I mean, it's not really a trauma. I'm just saying I'm trying to do better, because just consider the people around me and how confused they are. If your mom is Filipina, you would know this. You'd be confused. If your wife is Filipina, you will know this too. I try not to do that for my family's mental sake. Yeah, I've seen a lot of skits about like Filipino pointing their lip instead of trying to give direction. So they would just point their lip. What's funny is it actually kind of makes sense if you're in the Philippines. It makes sense. You would just point your lip and then it's right there. It's easy. No words spoken, just the pointing lip. Job's done. But here we need to adopt, and I need to adopt, and your mom needs to adopt. So give your mom a break. Give your wife a break. All right, you guys, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think? And I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.